This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. You're going to get the chance to really cool off tonight if you decide to leave your windows open.
Temps have been dropping. They're going to continue to do so throughout the night. So let's get the very latest on how low they will go with our chief meteorologist, Hutch Johnson. Hutch?
Thanks so much, you two. Good evening, everyone. As we head into our weekend, we're going to see another cool night, and we're looking in on West Fargo, as we will throughout the evening, at those fireworks, as mentioned. Now, taking a look at what we have going on. Cool northwest flow throughout the day. In fact, those gusts over 30 miles per hour today. Look at these temperatures already down to 52 in Baudette, 60 for Grand Forks. Not much warmer than that in Fargo at this time. Here is the news. We are going to have another cool night out there, but it's not going to be as cold as the 30s this morning. 40s in central Minnesota. Look at the heat though, and this heat lasts, and it's going to come with some humidity. I'll have hour by hour details on what you can expect here as we go through a very dry period of weather. That continues, but there is some good news. Join me for the full forecast. We do have a good chance of some rain, and the details on that are coming up here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
Yeah.
The drought in the Red River Valley isn't necessarily a bad thing for all industries. Construction companies are being able to complete projects ahead of schedule because they aren't being interrupted by rain. The drier conditions are just what the doctor ordered for one company that's working on concrete paving and earth moving between Fargo and Wahpeton. The head of a local construction company says typically they carve out several days for weather-related delays.
When we're bidding work, a lot of times, how much of the work is May to early July, when typically we get more precipitation, and that can really affect. You're going to have to dry dirt out, you're going to have to seal it up before it rains, and the weekend causes a lot of extra time.
McCormick adds that every year there's a challenge to recruit and retain employees, but they find a way to continue to get their projects done nonetheless. And fortunately, the drought this season is helping push things along quicker.
Fireworks have been blasting off for the last couple weeks as part of the Pyrotechnic Guild International Convention at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. And in the midst of a drought, that can create a big fire concern. Much of the concern is the dryness of the field in the area and the possibility of the fireworks starting a grass fire. But officials for the Guild say safe practices are the backbone of putting on this event. PGI staffs a large safety team every year, including fire and medical personnel. The West Fargo Rural Fire Department has also been on site to lend a hand.
Good for us to be out there with them. If something would get out of hand, we could be on scene with our grass fighting apparatuses and keep it from going anything that could cause any more damage than need to be.
The chief says each year the convention comes to town, there's substantial planning between the PGI safety team and his department to prepare for any possible fire scenario.
The United Nations released a global warming report this week, and it's calling for Code Red for humanity, and it's directly impacting North Dakota. The report says human-caused emissions raised the average global temperature by more than 1 degree Celsius. Some U.S. officials say that's to blame for the historic drought and wildfires, warning that we must reduce CO2 emissions to avoid catastrophic damage. Governor Doug Burgum's office says North Dakota is among the best positioned states to help our country and the world transition into an economically feasible way to a carbon-constrained future while providing reliable, resilient, and affordable energy, emphasizing state innovation over federal regulation. Several people have been arrested in a drug bust involving heroin in Lakes Country. Authorities say it started with a traffic stop in which 2 people were taken into custody and charged with having cocaine and meth. That led to home search in Detroit Lakes. 4 more people were arrested there on possession of various drugs and weapons. A combined weight of 141 grams of meth, 38 grams of fentanyl, and 31 grams of heroin were seized. More arrests are expected soon.
Health experts are urging you to be proactive in protecting yourself against the Delta variant. Pediatric cases involving COVID are on the rise across the country, and it's putting a strain on hospitals. Fargo's Board of Health is hoping that Cass County could head off some of those problems.
We have pediatric hospitals in the south now that are at capacity and without ICU beds. So it's giving a lot of people pause as we look to return to congregate settings like schools and what this might mean for kids.
The board's recommendations to help slow the spread of the Delta variant echo the CDC, which include masking and vaccinations. As universities across North Dakota prepare their own back-to-school policies, the State Board of Higher Ed is helping them along. The North Dakota University System Task Force has returned to regular meetings due to the rise of the Delta variant, and they're helping universities prepare their policies based on their own individual circumstances. While the task force does advise mitigation strategies, leaders say due to North Dakota Century Code, any vaccine mandates for higher education students will not be coming from the state level.
The statute does not allow us to set vaccination requirements particularly for COVID-19. So, we wouldn't be setting those rules, and neither would any of the institutions.
Now, while the state education institutions can't mandate vaccines through policy, they say they're trying to make them easily available to students.
And if you're looking for a place in the area to get a vaccine, why not using our VNL vaccine tracker? It's on our homepage of the website. Or, as we've been telling you, you can open your phone camera right now, point it to the QR code on your screen, tap the link that pops up. More and more businesses appear to be mandating vaccines for their employees. Job postings that list COVID-19 vaccination as a requirement shot up 34% in the first week of August compared to the month before. That's according to a job site, Indeed.com. Positions posted on the site that require vaccination but may not specify COVID-19 were up 90% over the same period. Even with the recent increases, we're told the number of listings requiring vaccinations still represents a small portion of the jobs on site.
A federal judge has upheld the Biden administration's revised moratorium on evictions. That decision came after various landlords asked the courts to block it. The matter is complicated. When the Supreme Court voted to allow an earlier moratorium in a 5-4 vote, Justice Brett Kavanaugh said he wouldn't uphold it past July 31st. The new moratorium is an extension of that earlier one. The judge told landlords they can appeal her decision. The Department of Homeland Security is warning of possibility for violence ahead of the 20th anniversary of the terror attacks on 9/11. Today's bulletin also warns of possible violence surrounding upcoming religious holidays. The agency says the threats include those inspired by foreign terrorists and domestic terrorists. The bulletin also specifically mentions grievances over public health safety measures and perceived government restrictions. DHS does not identify any credible threats.
Lawmakers in Minnesota redrawing the state's political map have a lot to think about over the release of the new census data. They only have a few months to agree or to punt to the high-stakes job of going into the courts. So lawmakers from both parties have been studying the granular data ever since the Census Bureau released it on Thursday. The numbers show how Minnesota's population has shifted toward the Minneapolis-St. Paul area from rural counties. Minnesota's political maps must be redrawn by February 15th so candidates can file for the 2022 elections. 54 soldiers within the North Dakota Army National Guard were honored today at a send-off ceremony, this one taking place in Devils Lake. The soldiers are from the state's 835th Engineer Utilities Detachment. They're leaving for a year-long U.S. Central Command mission. The unit will be among other American troops, some of them active duty, supporting Operation Spartan Shield, the mission to maintain the U.S. military posture in Southwest Asia. This is the first overseas mobilization for this unit. Still ahead tonight on Valley News Live at 10, the struggle to save a historical fire station. We're going to take you on a tour.
Clear skies, quiet conditions. It's going to be another cool night, but the heat, make no mistake about it, is on. Tomorrow we'll be kissing that 90-degree mark as you're out on the grill. I'll have hour-by-hour details on that, and we'll look ahead at some potentially significant rainfall next.